प्रणाम व्यूअर्स। आप देखने लगे हैं गोलगप्पे चैनल। As you see the background, I am on move. I'm not in my home in Tennessee. I'm actually in New Jersey. Came here for some work on way to Bharat. तो थोड़ा सा बैकग्राउंड वो नहीं होगा जो आप यूज टू है देखने को, बट whatever is the background, आज का जो टॉपिक और जो गेस्ट है हमारी, today I have a very astonishing person, a great person, a guru, Monica Cooley. Monica Cooley is an American. She lives in Nashville, Tennessee. And when she was young, and she traveled to India some 40 years back from Singapore, a daughter of a pastor father, a devout Christian and believer of a God, the Almighty, and his pretty lovely daughter. There is a phrase called Becky breaking the cultural barrier moment. That was the moment which took Monica Cooley to India, and then rest is the history you will hear in the program. It's been 40 long years. She has been a guru. She has been teaching thousands and thousands of Indian American, the non-Indian American, the white American, the black American, all kinds of people, all kinds of people she has trained on a dance called Bharatnatyam. She fell in love with that, and till date she is doing it. So I thought, why not to bring that story, uh, the story on Monica Cooley. So let's see few of her pictures, and then I will proceed further. So, friends, as you see, this is Monica ji, and Becky is a phrase. It's like a very, like when you are young, a young white woman is called Becky. Becky travels to India, and then there she breaks the cultural barrier, and Becky then becomes the great Monica Cooley, the guru, right? So it's used in that purpose. Here is she now, 40 long years with yours truly. Some of the awards she got from her students on the 25th year of her very long dancing career, I guess. So this is Monica ji. Let's hear a little bit from her, and then we will proceed. What was just testing it right now? So, so viewers, today we have a very exciting guest, Monica ji, and you will be hearing about the Indian classical dance, Bharatnatyam, what was her inspiration, all those things. So, as you see, a very gracious lady. Uh, so, Monica ji, I know you have done a great service to Bharat. Here is a small essay before I share the podcast with the users. I will my Golgappe channel family, virtual family. I want to read an essay which has been prepared for you by yours truly. A gratitude to Monica ji, a guru beyond borders. So, Becky breaking the cultural barrier to transforming into a guru beyond borders. Some souls do not merely learn an art, they become its living breath. Monica G is one such rare soul. For 4 decades, this remarkable, sorry to quote that, a white woman, just to make my viewers understand the effort which has gone through. So, for over 4 decades, this remarkable white woman, born far from the soil of Bharat, chose to surrender her heart, her body, and her life to Bharatnatyam, one of the India's most sacred ancient art forms. What began as a dedication transformed into devotion. What began as learning became seva through kala nivedhanam, dance. Sorry for my pronunciation. Dance school in Nashville, Tennessee. Monica G built far more than a dance institution. She built a bridge between civilizations, a sacred space where generations of Indian children in the United States could stay rooted in their cultural and spiritual heritage. Thousands of students, Indian and non Indian alike, were shaped by her discipline, her patience, her uncompromising respect for tradition, and her immense love for this divine art. For us as a parents, raising children away from India came with an unspoken fear. Would they forget who they are? Would they lose touch with their civilization? Their stories, their God, their values, their grandparents' values. Because of Monica G, that fear faded. She did what even many of us struggle to do. She kept our children connected to Sanatan Dharma through the dance form, Indian aesthetics, history, rhythm, devotion, and grace, all through Bharatnatyam or Natyama. She taught them the dance is not performance alone, but prayer in motion. Her journey itself is an awe-inspiring. At a young age, Monica, a daughter of a Christian pastor and a practicing Christian, traveled to Bharat not as a tourist but as a sincere student. Never once did she give anyone a reason to doubt her reverence for Hindu philosophy or temple tradition. Watching her portray Shiva Tandava or Krishna Leela, one could only bow in silence. Her Abhinava carried bhakti so pure that labels dissolved in her dance. There was no other, there was only devotion. She did not borrow our culture, she honored it. As a student, she learned with humility. As a teacher, she taught with rigor. As a guru, she gave with selflessness. Her partnership with Mr. Mahadevan of Tamil Nadu, who became her life partner, stands as a beautiful symbol of cultural unity. Two world meeting not in compromise but in harmony. Together they build a life that reflects shared values, respect, and love for tradition, all while living in the United States. As Monica G prepares to close her dance classes in 2026 due to health concern, our heart feels heavy, but also profoundly grateful. What she has given us cannot be measured in years or arangetrams alone. She has given us identity, continuity, and belonging. Her contribution to Indian culture, especially outside India, is extraordinary. It is kind of lifelong service that deserves national and international recognition, including honors such as Padma Shri. So, if the Prime Minister Office of India, if they are listening and watching this program, and I will be tagging this program with the PMO office, she deserves a Padma Shri. If such awards are not meant to celebrate those who preserve and elevate India's heritage, then Monica Ji's name unquestionably belongs among them. On behalf of countless parents, families, children whose lives were shaped by her, thank you, Monica Ji. Thank you for choosing Bharatnatyam. Thank you for choosing our children. Thank you for choosing India again and again and again with your heart. And thank you for choosing an Indian, Mr. Mahadevan, as your life partner. You will forever remain not just a teacher, but a guru, a torch bearer of culture, and a blessing we will carry forward. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Vasi Guru Namah. A great guru forever. Monica ji, thank you so much. So, viewers, with that, let me show you one of her dance which she performed, and it was an awesome, awesome dance. You guys will love it. Even though I don't have a long video from her, but we'll see how it goes. Okay, so there's an internet issue here, guys. Let me refresh it. Hopefully, it will work. So that was Monica ji for us, guys, and back to her. It's an amazing, amazing lady, and there were some more pictures I wanted to share with you guys. One second, maybe I need to add that here. But before that, why don't we listen to some of a podcast? That will be more important because that's what this program is supposed to be. Simple scriptures and all, and okay. So this is what I was supposed to show you guys. Hmm. Yeah, it's coming. There may be some internet issue, guys. It's a massive storm here in America. So there is definitely an internet issue here. So as I said, there is an internet issue here in America because of very bad weather. There was a massive storm, and that storm really had a big impact. So let me. So I've written everything about the various Indian philosophy, what I could recollect after multiple scriptures and all, and hope you'll enjoy it. It's to join both north, south, east, west together. The bottom line is to have one common Indian culture. That's the
Shaivite, Vaishnavite.
yes, yeah, and I'm Shivite too. By the way,
At you.
we are. You can look anywhere, but
I like to look at you because you're talking to me, but then it might look odd in the camera. So you.
so viewers of Golgappe, today we have Monica ji, Monica Cooley, and she is, and you see all the gurus behind. So she wanted me to film
Those are
from
my
here
gurus.
because she,
Those are my gurus.
that's the guru, yes. And the guru is also your life partner, if I am correct. No, not
No, not at all.
not Mahadevan sir. Oh, that's
Yes, Sri Narasimhachari and Srimati Vasanta Lakshmi. Sri Narasimhachari passed away in 2015, but they were extraordinary dancers with a career that took them across the world. He is a graduate of Kalakshetra. She is also in the Kalakshetra style. And he was also an incredible musician. If he had not been a dancer, he would have been a famous vocalist.
wow.
He was a mridangist, and he was an extraordinary choreographer. So he produced in his lifetime some 27 dance dramas on many different themes. And she recently was just awarded Music Academy's primary award for dancers. And we all felt it was sad that he wasn't there, that he didn't live long enough to receive that. But many awards from all organizations across India.
And he was based where? Chennai?
They're both originally from Andhra, but they were based in Chennai.
Chennai. Okay. And that's you?
That's me, long time ago.
Viewers, आप देख रहे हैं? Yes. So we are recording this in her studio here in Nashville, Tennessee, and I have a few questions. So, viewers, for your understanding, this podcast is going to be a little longer, but we'll have a pause. The first part of the question will be her personal and cultural journey. And so, Monica ji, how long have you been in this form of dance? Like how many years?
Since 1979.
1979, which is
So
20 year, 21
40,
that side, and 20. So it's been a pretty long time.
long time, over 45 years.
Okay. So my first question will be: you have dedicated around 45 years to Bharatanatyam. What first drew you as an American, or whichever country you were staying at that time? I think you were in Singapore or some Asian country, I guess, to this ancient Indian art form.
So I was born in Singapore, just born in Singapore, and then grew up in Indonesia. And my mother, like many mothers, put me in dance at the age of 5. And at that time, it was Javanese dance. So grew up learning Javanese dance, a little bit of Balinese dance. When we came home on furlough to the United States, she put me in ballet. I returned to the United States to join high school in my 10th grade. And at that time, I focused very heavily on ballet. I thought I might like to be a professional ballet dancer, but I'm too tall and too heavy because we need to be small enough to be lifted by
Oh
the
yeah,
men.
right.
And I've always had an interest in history and culture. So in college, I majored in South and Southeast Asian studies,
Hmm.
and I took my junior year abroad with a program in to India, and I chose to be in the southern part of India, Madurai.
Hmm.
So I learned Tamil. The program was primarily a language program, but we
Hmm.
also had cultural immersion, and each of us was required to do a practical study of some sort. So I chose dance, obviously, and the program found my teacher for me in Madurai.
Hmm.
She was the older sister of Padma Subramaniam.
Ah.
She was primarily a vocalist, but the whole family has been involved in dance and music and movie making for decades and decades. So I started my training there in Madurai. And when I came back to the United States, people would ask me to perform, and I felt that that was inappropriate. So because I was not experienced enough, so I decided to go back to India on my own, specifically to learn dance. And that happened in 1986. And I studied with my gurus. I found them and studied with them. And I used to have private class, 2 to 3 hours a day, and group class with everybody else. And did my Arangetram in 1989 in Chennai. And from then, I have been teaching and touring with productions and performing across the United States.
So you are originally an American, or you were born in Singapore? Like what nationality when you were
Yeah, my
growing?
parents were American.
Your
So I
parents are
was born
American.
abroad to American parents. So I'm an American citizen.
And at what age you decided all this thing? Because when I compare you with the Gen Z's of today, you know, as a parent, we all always get confused. How come they have such a strong mind? They know what they're doing is right. And here is a person who was, I would say, you are definitely beyond your time, because you were born in Singapore or Asia, or you stayed major part in
Yeah, I
Singapore.
literally was just born in Singapore. My parents were on the island of Ambon, and my mother felt it would be better to be in hospital, so they went to Singapore to have me.
Right. And then from there you decided to go to a mystic land of India, right? A lot of Americans at that time were not aware of India at that time. And then you decided not to study, say, a medicine or ancient way of treatment. Rather than you went for dance, which is a bigger healing. So let me rephrase the sentence. Dance is the bigger form of healing the humanity. So, and you decided to select Bharatnatyam. You went all the way to Madurai. Madurai is a beautiful place. It's a Shiva and Parvati's house, guys. I am yet to go, but I have to go to the Meenakshi temple. That's in my to do list.
Yes.
uh, and you chose that. What was the age when you were making all this decision? Like, was there any pushback from American parents at that
No,
time?
no. My mother was also a missionary child. She was born and raised in China,
Ah,
and left China at the time of the Japanese-Chinese War. And
okay.
so she was also very independent,
Hmm.
and it was quite normal for her to think of me being abroad.
Hmm.
So she had no difficulty having me be abroad. Um, and I should say that on both sides of my family, my father and both grandfathers were pastors in the church. They were missionaries. That's
Okay.
why I was in
Hmm.
Indonesia
Hmm.
growing up. And so there's been a spiritual component to my family. Uh, and my father was very liberal and open-minded.
Oh,
My mother slightly less so, but my father was quite happy to have me be learning an art form that's primarily a spiritually based art form. And I had some understanding of Hinduism before going. I am not a Hindu.
yeah.
There's no conversion.
Right. Yeah.
But I understand a great deal about it, primarily through all the stories that we tell in dance. But my path has always been a non-traditional path, and I have always felt a connection with the divine in many different forms.
Beautiful. And that is one of the important part when I will be going to to be asking you all the spiritual journey, because viewers definitely if you have a family background of spirituality, it definitely matters.
It
It's
matters.
not what faith you go, but spirituality is
Yes,
above that. It's
yes,
not Hindu, Muslim, or
100%.
and that's where you as a person connect with your creator, right? Whatever name you
Absolutely,
call it. And she is
absolutely.
a living example here, what you're hearing. um, Moving on. So how was your early experience learning from the Indian gurus, both in US and possibly in India? I think India. Did you face
Exactly.
cultural barriers or moments? Because I'll come to the dance part where a lot of bhavas and emotions, and you little bit knowing about the value system of that civilization or culture, to bring all those into a expression form, because Bharatnatyam, guys, is not a gymnast. It's emotion and also your body, right? That so we'll talk more on that, but I would like to hear from Monica ji.
I personally have not had difficulty with the bhava component of Bharatanatyam because, as I tell my students, bhava originates inside, and inside we're all the same. So, if we have a connection to the divine through whatever religion, as you mentioned, that comes out in our actions, but in Bharatanatyam on the face. And I try to help the children to understand, feel like you're talking to God as if you're talking to your friend or your parents. Be free, be open, um, embrace all of the feelings that you have and all of the thoughts that you have, and let them come out on your face. It cannot be artificial. The audience knows when uh, a dancer's bhava is artificial, and it repels the audience. But when the dancer is speaking to the audience in an honest way, then it will automatically come out on the face. Of course, we have to practice, we have to work, we have to have a teacher guide us saying, well, you did this and it didn't convey the right
Right.
idea. So we help them, but bhava is a human experience. All of us have bhava. As we talk with each other, if we were blind, it would be much more difficult to understand what a person is feeling. But because we see the expressions on the
Method.
face, so bhava is a natural thing. In dance, it is a little bit more shaped, um, and we're connecting with the lyrics, so it's has to go with the lyrics. But it's a human thing.
Okay.
But I think what inhibits the children these days is they are embarrassed.
They are
They're embarrassed. They are reluctant
to
to let
express.
their inner emotions come out on the face in front of others. And I think it's that inhibition is there. So to try and get over that inhibition is the hardest thing.
Okay, that's a very interesting point, because when I hear, and I do interact with a lot of young kids, and when it comes to certain expression like my choice, my body, our Gen Z kids are so much opinionated to the level where they have a political and even all kinds of opinion, right, which can go against or in favor, either way they have that opinion. But it is strange or interesting to hear that they have inhibition when it comes to expressing themselves out on emotional aspect.
So when I'm talking to them about their day-to-day life, usually the first few minutes in class, we'll do some exercises. And instead of having complete silence, I'll say, how was your day? How was your week? And I will ask them, they will, speak about something that happened. They're animated at that time, but they're having a hard time connecting to the lyrics, these traditional lyrics.
Hmm.
That is difficult for them. And so I try to find ways to make it seem intimate and modern day, and not, okay, this is a very
True.
ancient art form and these are ideas that I cannot access.
So then, an follow-up question will be, and I have seen you conducting with all kinds of all races of people, whether it's a white people or it's a black girl or in Asian, mainly Indian girls. The bhava, say if I'm coming from a black American family, my anger and my expression, a lot of things. For example, the civilizational thing, like how would you treat your grandma? Love and hug is a different thing, whereas we have to say touch the feet, for example. I'm just throwing some ideas. So that bhava, is the civilization and culture also a blockage? Because then the question will be, most of the Indian American kids raised in India, raised in America, they may have lost that connect which, say, their parents or before that had. So for you to convert these type of young minds into an emotional bhava which Bharatnatyam type of a pure dance wants will be a really challenge, right?
I find in the past 10 years or 15 years that Indian children born in this country know less about their culture and their scriptures than they did when I first started teaching. So that may be that the parents are busy and are not guiding them or helping them to participate, or their life is in school outside, and as you say, they interact with a wide variety of people, not only their Indian classmates. I'm not quite sure what it is. I personally think it has more to do with the fact that children don't read, but they look at things outside them much more. And so um, I think all children, not just Indian children, have a difficulty accessing their emotions and being able to express it on the face because they're looking at something else all the time. Like we used to read books, right? Because we didn't have screens. So when you're reading books, you're imagining. Okay. But these days they're not. It's all exterior to them. And I do think that sometimes they have trouble accessing their emotions and dealing with their emotions. That children in my generation, where we didn't have all of these uh, screens to look at and a way to engage outside of ourselves, we had a richer inner life because reading and thinking is an interior thing, and looking at something outside of you is an exterior thing. It's being
Viewers, kitni badi, such a big spiritual philosophical thing she just told. Reading books and internal visualization, internally imagining things, is far far strong, and it results in a better bhava than you seeing an iPhone or a smartphone and just seeing the reel. That's, you're not acting. You are basically seeing someone act. It's more outer. So outer versus inner emotion development. See, such this is where a guru will have a sharp understanding, and she is one of them. Thank you, Monica ji. This is really great podcast so far.
applied from outside. So I do see that change. But um, part of my job as a teacher is to help children to access their emotions and be free to express them, um, and help them. So a big part of being in class is getting to know each child, understanding their personality, encouraging them, um, guiding them. This is what a guru is rather than just a dance teacher. And I credit my teachers for helping me to model that method, because they also have always been very involved in the lives of their students.
Okay. Good point. So my next question would be: do you ever feel like an outsider when engaging with Bharatnatyam community in India, or has the art form transcended cultural and national boundaries for you?
I only feel like an outsider when someone makes me feel like an
Right.
outsider.
True.
And that has happened on occasion in
Yeah.
India. People see the white
That's yes.
skin and they make assumptions.
They make assumption. True.
So, I mean, I think that's
Because you are
natural.
rare, and very few people will be this deep, so they don't know you.
Well, there
So
are a few of us. There are a couple of other, there are at least 10 or 15 other teachers in the United States who've dedicated their lives completely to Bharatanatyam. And in fact, one of them is planning to write a book about our experiences because they're quite similar. So I'll tell you, when I first, in Madurai, when I was first placed with my guru, she lived in a very, very traditional Tamil home in the Agraharam area right around Meenakshi Temple. And she was a Brahmin, so, and I am not. So when I first came in, there's this special room right near the front that's for non-Brahmin people who enter the house. And so that's where she met me. And there are special cups for non-Brahmins. So I was given tea in those special porcelain cups. And our dance hall was upstairs above where the cows are kept. So I wouldn't need to go into the interior of the house. I would just walk upstairs and change my clothes and be ready for class. As the months went by, And she came to know me, and I came to know her. All that fell away. By the end, I would come straight into the interior of the house. I would help her chop vegetables. I would help her do whatever was necessary. So, you just have to see somebody inside, not the
Agree.
exterior, not the skin color. And that has happened performing as well. I have had people look at me, and I was with another Canadian dancer, a
Mm.
male dancer, also
Mm.
Bharatanatyam dancer, and we were entering one of the sabhas in Chennai. And one lady looked at us and said, "You people, you might be able to do Bharatanatyam." She used the word "you people," might be able to do the technique, but you will never get the
Bhava.
bhava and the spirituality of our
Yeah.
dance form. So when people, make me
I
feel like
know.
an outsider, I just smile, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. I'm people will have those opinions. It's okay.
So, Monica ji, even Mahadev, Lord Shiva, has been given a lot of names by a lot of people, but he's God.
He's God.
So he was always quiet, and people would accept him. So there are a lot of stories which I've also covered in the book. So don't go by those artificial and very not very deep, shallow people.
Yeah,
I mean, it's also their experience. I
it's their
won't blame
experience.
them totally.
Yeah,
Their
yeah.
exposure is not what you are having.
I don't take it. I
So
never took it personally.
sure,
And
yeah.
the friend of mine and I, we just looked at each other and just laughed
Now,
and shrugged our
what you're
shoulders.
doing is they will take 10 generation to do that. It's not easy to coming from a different culture background and then taking a spirituality to a level where actual the spirituality means this, which is above your typical ritual and faith. So
But with my
great.
gurus and with my co-dancers in the school, I never felt like an outsider. They never
Great.
treated me like an outsider. And I traveled with Sri Narasimhachari throughout the United States, and often we would go into. He was very, very careful about his diet as a Brahmin, a practicing
Sure.
Brahmin. So when we would be hosted in non-Brahmin homes, sometimes he would say, "Monica, can you go make me a dosa?"
I understand. Wow.
So that made me laugh. I mean, I appreciated the fact that he thought of me as, a
Right.
very close Shishya and didn't think of my caste. But it also made me a little sad that he was still following,
Correct. Yeah.
those traditions.
Yeah. I mean, see, yeah, again, I have written in the book, just take the example of Shivite and Vaishnavite, that you will understand the whole philosophy behind that. When Shiva was embracing everyone, and there's a lot of stories even if you read Shiva Purana, when but this how the society evolved, and but the best part is the both philosophies did interaction, shastrarth, and eventually the right one. So
And I think it's very hard, when you grow up in a culture, you cannot just, that's part of who you are, right? So I have only praise for my gurus. They were extraordinary. Um,
true.
but certain things are hard to change.
Yeah. No, it's again it's a way the Vaishnavites and the Shivites. I mean, but then viewers, there are six other philosophies which people don't know, like your Ganesha, your Kartikeyan, your Shakta, and then Surya. Surya is in eastern part of India where they celebrate Chhat and all. So there were six major categorization of philosophy in Bharat, which I have covered in my
Yeah.
book. But then the two primary one we discuss nowadays is Shivite and Vaishnavite, and in Bengal and Eastern India, the Shakt tradition.
Mm-hmm.
So Shakt eat fish. The Shakt Brahmins, a place where I come from, where Sita was born in Mithilanchal, the top Brahmins they eat fish,
Yes.
and
Yes.
they are second to none. So again, India is it's an ethnic divide.
Yes. Yes.
Eating habit comes from a lot of other factors,
Yes.
but spirituality, Atman, soul, samsara, doesn't believe in what you eat. It's your soul we are talking.
Yes.
So when you die in our faith, it said dehant means your body dies, your atma does not die, your soul. And even in Abrahamic faith, I think, even though they don't believe in multiple birth, they do believe in soul going to heaven or hell. So based on your karma, so that is common in both. So again, moving forward, We'll take a pause after this question, and then I will get into the dance form. How many, again, it's a repetition, but again, let me ask this. How have your teachers, peers in India perceived your commitment? Was it with curiosity, skepticism, or admiration?
They just accepted me as one of them. We were in class together, we were practicing for dance dramas together, we traveled together, we did everything together. And I don't never perceived with we call each other Simhanam party, so they're our family of Narasimha. So they never treated me any differently. We were just one family of dancers together.
Okay. All right. So we'll get into the second section. We'll take a pause.
I think they were appreciative of the fact that I came from another culture and embraced that. That they would say, we respect you for that. So definitely there was an appreciation. There was never a shunning. There was never a we're different from you. That I never experienced.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Monica ji. So viewers, you heard her. Second part of the podcast I'm adding right now, and you will be seeing that soon. Okay. There's definitely a move from the studio. Going to add a video. There are some issues. Okay. There's some internet issue, guys. So you have to bear with me. Oh. Okay. I'm not sure what's the problem here. Let me, meanwhile, show you one more time her dance, which really, really is mind blowing. And I think you guys should see this. Meanwhile, I work on the video. So that was Monica ji for us, guys. And something is wrong with the video right now because it looks like the internet is behaving very badly because of the bad situation of the. So what I'll do is I will give me 2 more minutes, guys. Meanwhile, I'll see if I can add some more. Just let me refresh this. Just give me So I've added myself here. एक बार और मैं try करता हूँ उनका video, and once that works, will be good. Let me show her. Okay. Internet, why are you behaving like this? Yeah, that's both of us. That was when I recorded her. It's almost getting there, guys. Just be patient a little bit. Sorry for all those disturbance, but I have no control over internet, especially in this weather. आपको पता होगा कि in America there has been a massive snowfall, massive snowfall, and that is where it's creating problem for us. But I thought this interview would be really good for you to listen, because इतना बढ़िया इंटरव्यू आप फिर नहीं सुन पाओगे. Back with Monica Ji. The next section, we will be talking about the dance, science, and the body. The body. Okay, so I have three questions here. The first will be Bharatnatyam requires immense physical precision and coordination. From your perspective, how does this dance form intersect with modern dance, science, anatomy, and I think kinesiology? Kinesiology is something.
Kinesiology.
Yeah.
Yeah, the study of the movement of the body.
Movement of the body, yes.
Bharatanatyam is a very precise dance form. And one thing that's different between all the Indian classical dance forms and Western dance forms is that each part of the body is doing something different at the same time. So the brain is very involved in coordinating all these movements. Like our hand gestures are doing something, okay? Our feet are doing something different. Our head is doing something. Our eyes are doing something. We, as Bharatanatyam dancers, need to access the muscles that move every single part of the body. And they do different things at the same time. So the brain is coordinating all those different movements. Like I have to do the shoulder movement, I have to keep my hand in Tripataka, pull the shoulder, use my eyes. That is different from Western dance. Western dance is more organic. The body flows. There are not so many small, precise little movements. In fact, in Indian classical dance, all the parts of the body and how they move are very carefully notated.
Yes.
Whereas in Western dance, it's more organic and it's more fluid. However, if you ask me which is the more physically difficult one, I would say classical Western ballet is physically more difficult than Bharatanatyam, because the strength of the legs, the balance in multiple turns, the leg up to here, what's required in Western classical ballet is more difficult to execute. It's harder to be a professional ballet dancer than it is to be a professional Bharatanatyam dancer, because the dance form, I'm talking about ballet, not modern dance, the ballet form is so difficult, especially if you're on point, if you're standing on point shoes. That's why many ballet dancers, their body is done with by the time they're 40. Very few ballet dancers have an extended performing career into their 50s or 60s. Many Bharatanatyam dancers have performing careers into their 50s and 60s because, except perhaps for the knees, it's more gentle on the body. But it is more difficult to coordinate. Your brain is working much harder to send signals to each minute part of your body to do something different at the same time. So I think kinesiology hasn't really gone to study Bharatanatyam, but this is my observation because I was a ballet dancer for some time. I was never good enough to be a professional ballet dancer, but I am good enough to be a Bharatanatyam dancer because of my physicality.
Okay.
And also the body shape.
Body
You can
shape.
be any body shape
Hmm.
for a Bharatanatyam dancer.
Hmm.
To be a professional ballet dancer, you have to be not taller than 5'3",
Hmm.
and because you have to be partnered, so the male partner has to hold the hand while you do turns,
Hmm.
and you have to be light boned and quite skinny.
Okay.
And so sometimes ballet dancers will do unhealthy things in order to reduce the appetite, in order to stay under a certain, it's like what wrestlers have to do sometimes to
True.
stay in
Yeah.
their weight
Strides
range.
now.
So from the point of view of the body, Bharatanatyam is probably a healthier art form, and our performing career can extend much longer.
Okay.
But it is quite difficult to do. I sometimes have had ballet dancers come and they don't stay that long because it takes such a long time to master.
Hmm. Okay. So she has been in both the dance forms. So what you're hearing is from the experience, not only from reading, guys. So take this. All the new dancers should hear this carefully and then plan. It's something like the jockey we have in a horse race, where they have to be small when they ride a horse.
Yeah.
Something like that. What
Yeah.
Monica ji is
So
suggesting
now,
for.
if you look at the history of Western dance, modern dance is kind of a backlash to these aspects of classical ballet. So modern dance doesn't require, the partnering and the lifting in the same way that ballet does. And modern dancers are more aware of natural movements of the body, whereas in ballet, the turnout of the legs is very, very extreme. And so modern dance is kind of an evolution of Western dance, and a bit of a backlash to some of the hard things about ballet.
So again, since we are talking dance form and we are not getting into ballet in deep, but my question would be in Bharatanatyam there is a concept, right? Whether you are doing a Shiva Tandava, Ananda Tandava, or Krishna, all those things, there is a concept behind the dance. It's you just don't have to just show that how flexible is your body.
Correct.
I'm just asking because I don't know much about the ballet where you mentioned about the hardship. Is it on a theme, lovers, Romeo Juliet, or what kind of a theme normally when you have to show all kinds of strength of your body? What are you trying to express from in a dance form?
So traditional classical ballet has, we can think of them as dance dramas. They are ballets, they're full-length ballets, and they
Sure.
tell a story. So Giselle, Swan Lake, these are stories from European literature. And so in that sense, they're somewhat similar to a dance drama in Bharatanatyam.
Is it
And you
more
have
of a
particular,
king story or is it like a god story also?
well, it can be a religious story, but typically they are not.
They are not because
Typically
not
they are not.
prohibited.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Okay. All right. Just trying to understand. Yeah.
But modern dance also has pieces that um, are not story based, like traditional classical ballet, but which convey emotions through movement in the same way that we can do in Bharatanatyam, but without the hand gestures and without the specifics of the hand gestures and facial expressions. So Western dance is not just classical ballet, it's modern dance, and there are many different types of modern dance, and then there's constant evolution and constant new work being done. That is happening in Bharatanatyam also. New themes are being taken up in Bharatanatyam. Of course, all the stories about the Devis and Devas are still there, but people are choreographing
No.
Bharatanatyam
Yes.
on plenty of new themes.
Sure. Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. I think there was a famous dancer. What dancer was that? 60s में that
Rudolf Nureyev?
अनारकली वगैरह का डांस जो की थी. Okay, I'm just forgetting it.
Uh,
Vajanti Mala, before Vajanti Mala, that Sadhana or somebody that they used to perform on a different social aspect, the theme,
yes.
like king and all those
Yes.
things. So, okay. I think if it's a repetitive question, do you think classical Indian dance training method would inform Western approaches to a bodily awareness, flexibility, and even mental focus?
Not the first two, but yes, the mental focus. When I teach Western dancers, I often do workshops for them. That's what they find most difficult. They don't find sitting in Aremandi or Murumandi or stretching the arms difficult. They don't find these kinds of steps difficult. What they find difficult is the coordination of everything and the bhava,
Okay.
because that is those two aspects, the fact that, and also the rhythms. So the rhythms used in Indian classical dance are very complicated, and we must reproduce those rhythms with our feet, or we use our feet to create rhythms. And in Western dance, the sound of the footwork is not a component. So we have a very mathematical component to Bharatanatyam that is not there in Western dance.
Okay.
And you're always thinking about that. It's, am I on the beat? And the rhythms can be very, very complicated.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Viewers, hope you are enjoying it. So please keep on subscribing the Golgappe channel, and also we'll bring a lot of good panelists here to discuss various topics. So moving forward, and the last question in this section: could Bharatanatyam be integrated into school or university wellness and physical education programs to promote holistic health?
It already is. There are universities across the United States with dance programs that have Bharatanatyam teachers, and they offer that course. Certain universities, it's not widespread, but it already is. It's available in some places, particularly in California and New York and the bigger states.
But they
And
still don't get credit for it. It's just like a
it, it, I'm not sure. I don't know the technical
sure.
details about that, but I do know some Bharatanatyam teachers across the U.S. who do teach in college settings,
Okay.
and it may be part of an introductory course to different types of dances, and it's not a full-time thing, but certain universities you can find Bharatanatyam.
Okay. Okay. So we are coming to the last section where we are going to talk about the philosophy, religion, and artistry, and a little bit longer read. So just be patient with me. Bharatanatyam is deeply connected with the uh, Hindu way of thinking, especially Shiva as Nataraja and Krishna as the eternal lover and teacher. One of the question would be, how do you interpret these divine figures within your spiritual or artistic framework? And the second or third question I'll finish, and then you can answer. When performing the pieces dedicated to Shiva or Krishna, do you view the dance as spiritual practice, storytelling, or embodied philosophy? And the last is, how do you balance the respect for its religious roots with modern and often, again, this is not my question, often secular context performing arts in the West? So if you can cover some of them, that's fine.
Can you go back to the three questions again?
The first one.
Yeah,
First one is Bharatanatyam is deeply connected with the Hindu philosophy,
it is.
especially Shiva as Nataraja and
Yes.
Krishna as the eternal lover
Yes.
and teacher.
Yes, and
How do
Devi,
you interpret?
and all the forms of Devi.
And yes, spiritual and artistic framework.
Yeah, absolutely. So anyone who is doing Bharatanatyam has to have a devotion, an understanding, and an appreciation for Shiva, Krishna, all the devas, devis.
Right.
Of course, we have to have that understanding. If we don't have that understanding, we cannot embody them. So that understanding comes through scriptural reading, through puja, through personal practice, through meditation, and we have to bring all that into our depiction of it. And I have to say that this is where the concept of, of becoming that dancer takes place. You have to become that you have to become that deva or devi on stage. The audience should not be seeing me as the dancer. The audience should be seeing Shiva through me as the dancer. And that's where removing your own ego and your own personality from it and just projecting the movements, the personality, and the teaching in that particular dance is so important.
Okay.
And of course, our body has to be strong enough to do all of the movements that are associated. Like Shiva has a movement where he raises his leg up very high. So we have to be able to do those things as well. Our job as the dancer is to help the audience to see Shiva himself, not the dancer.
Understood. Well, beautiful answer. Uh, Do you see Bharatanatyam as a tool for reconnecting youth with inner sense of purpose and rootedness?
I believe
Rootedness, I'm
so.
not sure, but yeah, it
I
has.
believe so. I do believe so. Um, I think that it is possible. It is sometimes challenging. Not all children take to it, but all my students who learn for many years, and especially the ones who go on to Arangetram, the preparation for an Arangetram is very, very intense. And to be a solo dancer on stage for 2.5 hours, you have to have a really strong
Yes.
grasp of it. I do feel it changes them forever. I do feel that it provides them with an avenue to experience spirituality for the rest of their lives. It is transformative, but only if they take it seriously.
And viewers, I will in the end ask the question: how many batches she has run? How many in a year? How many girls they or boys they undergo training from her? You will be mesmerized to know those numbers. And every batch she remembers the name. One thing which is that kind of skill set or attribute, I don't think everybody has. She knows every student of hers with name, first name, last name, and remember these are the Indian names, which will be very big sometime, and she knows it by heart when you hear her on the stage. So I have been party to that, and I keep on admiring it. I can never forget. Even nowadays we keep on forgetting a lot of things. She remembers every student's name. Maybe Bharatanatyam, that bhava, mental conditioning, has taken her to a different level. So
I, I, I think any teacher who loves their students, it will be automatic for them to be interested in their students and at the basic minimum, remember their name. Now I'm getting older, so sometimes I have glitches in my brain and I forget, and I'll point to them. I know the name, but in the moment when there are 15 kids in the class and I want to give a correction, I may not remember in that moment. But that seems to be basic to me, that any teacher should know their students, not just their name, but what they need in order to be the best possible dancer that they can be. And each child is different, each student is different. And I teach from 5 years old up to 60. So I have a range of ages. And most of my students are female. I wish there were more males. There are few, but most of them are girls and women. And my adult classes, I adore my adult classes because these are women and men who have families at home and have jobs. And this dance form is meaningful enough to them to carve out one day in the week to drive all the way to the studio and take a dance class. And I feel that they appreciate it even more than the younger ones because it's so difficult to make that time for it. So my adult classes, hats off to them. I just really appreciate them.
okay, great. So now, since this was the last segment, we were talking about the two aspect where you focus mainly on the Shivite and the Vaishnavite. You also do Krishna as a eternal lover, and then Shiva with all bhavas. What difference you feel, and tell me about your learning initially when you came from Singapore. You saw Hinduism as one big umbrella. Now you are told that, hey, with Shivite, Shiva is a different form of dance. He has a different bhava, mostly Ananda or Tandava. And Krishna is a lover, even though Krishna also has a Narsimha avatar where he becomes like Shiva. What is your understanding? We would like to hear anything you would like to share. That will be great about these two.
About these two,
Yeah.
they have different energies. Shiva has a Lord Shiva has a very intense, powerful energy. Lord Krishna has a flowing, loving, softer energy. Um, in a way, to me, Lord Krishna seems slightly more feminine and Shiva seems very masculine, even though Shiva has the masculine and the feminine in his body. Um, so it's the nature of love, right? Love is soft and flowing and embracing. And Shiva's power and his intense meditation has a different quality to it. So when I when I dance songs about those two deities, I will uh, I will have a different. My posture may be slightly different. The energy that comes out of me might be slightly different, and that comes from becoming that becoming that character, asking Lord Shiva. When I go on the stage and I'm doing a dance for Lord Shiva, I always say, Lord Shiva, come, use my body, inhabit me, make me your vessel, your vehicle, dance through me. And I do the same for all of the forms of God in Hinduism. Each one has their unique characteristic, their unique feeling. Um, and they are, they are, they are part of me when I'm dancing.
Yeah. Well, good.
So my first interest in coming to Hinduism was through a book about Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, and I found his experience where he would practice Shaivism, he would practice Vaishnavism, he would practice all those. He would practice Christianity, he practiced
Yeah.
Islam, he practiced all of them, and said they're all one. He would live that way for some time, and then he came out at the end of all of that practice saying they're all one. So Atman is expansive. Atman is not discriminating. Atman is one. So I think anyone who does Bharatanatyam has that feeling. If they're really interested in the spirituality of it, they will have that feeling when they're doing all of the different dances on all of the different gods and goddesses. It's ultimately just one.
Do you believe in karma?
I do believe in karma.
So you think as a person, we should always be doing good karma, loving neighbors, loving everyone, pets, animals, everybody, right?
Yeah,
Without
absolutely.
any return expectation. Like,
Absolutely. Because the thing that destroys dance is an excessive ego. The audience recognizes if the dancer is there for their own ego or if they're there to
mm,
present the dance as perfectly as possible, like as they can do. So it's the same in all religions. Ego is
yeah,
the corrupter.
is a corrupter.
Yeah.
Yeah. True, true. Yeah. Even,
And it's there in the Bible. It says, however you sow, therefore shall you reap. So whatever action you do, you will reap the consequences
the
of it.
consequence.
It's just a different way to say the same thing. Of course, the Hindu concept of karma is far more developed than just that simple idea. But
Oh,
yes, I think all religions have that basic idea.
okay.
However you act, you must accept the consequences of your actions and learn from them and grow from them.
Okay. Okay. So ego is something which any young kid they are listening, you have to let go in whatever, because if you want to excel, you have to let your ego, because ego stops you from. But then there is another saying that if you want to be a sportsman, you have to be competitive. The ego and competitiveness, right? To become, I want to be best. It doesn't mean that you are like, for example, a Ravana. He was the biggest worshipper of Shiva, and he did the best that Shrotam, famous Shrotam. But there was a small bit of ego which basically affected his ninth thinking power, right? So, what is your lesson for those students? Because they will say that, I want to be best and I have to be competitive, and to that I have to have some kind of energy flowing, which many will see as an ego.
Well, I would say, I want to be the best that I can be, not to gain wealth and power and recognition, but just to be the best I can be. And I think if you look at it that way, I want to be the best soccer player I can be, not so I can buy a big mansion and do this or do that, but I love soccer. I want to be the best soccer player I can be. Um, so I think that is fine. But when you go on to say, I want to be better than everybody else, and I want everybody to recognize that I am the best, then the ego comes into it.
And for young kids, this is a little different question. Ma'am can choose to answer or not. Do you think Taylor Swift is a rishi? She is performing at the very highest level, connecting so many young people. So many young people. It's a very rare thing. God doesn't give that kind of a quality to everybody. How do you see her as a performer?
I may lose some of your listeners here, but I am not, I don't follow popular Western music. I recognize Taylor Swift's immense uh, power to attract audiences. And I also recognize her tremendous ability to control her career um, in a way that is healthy for her and for her fans. Um, but as far as Taylor Swift's music, I'm not very familiar with it.
Okay. No, that's a fair
But
question.
I
Answer.
absolutely appreciate um, how she has taken control of her career and decided for herself how she's going to go forward. And I think all people in the public eye, I mean, it's really, really hard. I wouldn't ever want to be somebody like Taylor Swift, but I think she's handled that fame extraordinarily well and has supported her fans. Her fans are so important to her,
Yeah.
and she has supported all of them and encouraged them. And so I applaud her for that tremendously.
Okay.
Wow.
So here are the viewers' question, friends. First question comes from Bangalore, and the question is: has Bharatanatyam dance form evolved over time? If yes, please share some of your observation. Do you see any differences in style of dance or quality of the dancers or commitment from the dancers?
I think Bharatanatyam has evolved in the sense of the types of stories that are told, the types of songs that are used. Um, I think dancers are more athletic, they're more aware of the body and how to keep the body strong and without injury. I find dancers are very conscious of that, uh, more so than when I started learning so many decades ago. Um, uh, I don't see very much difference in the technique itself, but how the technique is used to tell stories and what kind of stories are being told has evolved significantly.
Okay, thank you. Second question is: what would be your recommendation or advice to today's dancers as well as teachers that you think will benefit in learning as well as in teaching?
Get to, as a, from a teacher's point of view, get to know your students, get to know their, you know, their personalities. Teach each student as a unique individual. uh, Reach them, touch them where you can. Try to find the avenue to get through to each one. They're all different. um, some are lazy, they need to be, you know, pushed a little bit. Some are very sensitive, they need to be encouraged. So treat each of your students as a unique individual and understand them and help them to attain the most that they can attain.
Okay. Uh,
And stand and teach. Demonstrate. Don't just sit and tap. Demonstrate.
demonstrate.
I mean,
Yes.
if for teachers who are quite old and can no longer dance, yes, you have a senior student, but it inspires them when you get up and dance and show them that you love it enough to keep up with it and know how to do it.
And the third question is actually in that direction. What advice or recommendation will you give to dancers about maintaining fitness and avoiding injuries so that they can dance for more number of years?
Healthy diet, uh, regular practice, awareness of how the body works, especially in connection with the knees. Do not force children to over turn out their feet and have the foot roll in and the knee roll in. I've seen that issue before. Some kids do not have a very good turnout of the knees, and teachers will force them to turn out, causing foot problems and knee problems. So just like you uh, come to each student where they are emotionally and psychologically, you also have to treat each one differently with their body. So look at their body, understand the body, and help provide specific exercises to ones who struggle with the turnout of the knees, the aremundi, how to lower the aremundi. Have things that you can help them, tell them specifically to do to help them. But don't just say, turn out your feet, turn out your knees, and then have knee problems and ankle problems and foot problems.
Okay. Okay. Fourth question, second last question is, in Indian tradition dance. I think we may have covered some of them, but since it has come from the users, dance is not a physical activity, but it's considered as a form of sadhana. What are your views about this? How do you build or inculcate the discipline required for this sadhana in your young students?
Well, dance is a physical activity, but it's not only a physical activity. So we are using the body. In that sense, it's a physical activity. And sadhana is, first of all, you have to have an appreciation and a love for the dance form to make it your sadhana. So constant criticism, constant belittlement is not helpful. First of all, they have to appreciate and love the dance form. And then they will gradually understand the beauty of it and be willing to put in that sadhana. We can talk about sadhana, the value of it, in many other spheres of life as well, so that they don't think it's something exclusively involved here. But yes, that's a big problem, getting them to practice outside of class because they are so overly scheduled. But to help them to understand that sadhana is something they experience as positive uh, and helps them in other spheres of their life, I think will help them to make it a practice and a habit.
Okay.
To
Okay.
practice sadhana is, is to embrace all aspects of life and grow as a human being, not just you have to do this because I tell you to do it.
Okay, the last question is, Bharatnatyam is considered to be based on Bharat Muni's Natya Shastra. Are there any other influences from which Bharatnatyam has taken inspiration, your understanding?
So the Natya Shastra, Bharata Muni's Natya Shastra, is the oldest text, but there are other texts. I also like to read biographies of the great dancers to understand um, what inspired them and the kind of life they had in Bharatanatyam. But there are plenty of texts on aesthetics. But yes, the Natya Shastra is in translation and Abhinaya Darpana is in translation. It's really hard to get our students who are so busy with other things to get them to read these texts, but at least they should know about them and value them and understand that we use them, teachers use them in in choreography and in our own practice and in guiding us as dancers and teachers.
Okay. Okay, I think it was really great having you and listen different parts of the dance form, Bharatnatyam. Any other dance which you think is competitive in Indian dance form, which is nearer to Bharatnatyam? How do you see any other dance you know of, like Odissi, like Kathak, and all those kind of dance?
All the Indian classical dance forms are exquisite and challenging, complicated, deep. They all have their own flavor. I personally have only learned Bharatanatyam. My gurus were both Kuchipudi and Bharatanatyam dancers. When they first started their career, they made a point of learning some of all of the dance forms so that when they did their choreography, they would understand how the body moves in Mohiniyattam, how the body moves in Kathak. They didn't do it at a very deep level, but they understood all of them. I personally have focused only on Bharatanatyam, but because it's hard enough to do one dance form well, it's not so easy to be an expert in multiple dance forms.
Okay, so anything in Tamil you want to say? You said you know a little bit of Tamil.
I do speak Tamil a little bit. Yes. Please, thank you.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah. And viewers, we'll talk about Mr. Madhavan later in some other show, but she knows Tamil.
so, yes, I'm fortunate to be married to a vocalist and
Yeah.
someone who also writes songs. So I have asked him, I've given him certain tasks to write songs for me. I will say I want a song on this subject, and he will write it, and then he will set it to music, and then I will choreograph it. So quite a few of our my repertoire songs are original, especially when I have um, students who speak different languages. And during their Arangetram, most of our songs in Bharatanatyam are either in Telugu, uh, Tamil, or Sanskrit. And so if I have a Bengali student, for example, I will take a Bengali song and have my husband set it to music and choreograph it, or Odia song, because it's very important that they have at least one song in their own language that they feel connected to.
Okay.
And I'm because my husband is a vocalist and a scholar, he's able to do that for me, and a musician.
Okay. So thank you very much. Thank you for your time.
And one thing I
Yes.
wanted to mention that we didn't get a chance to discuss is, since I live in Tennessee and I perform out in the community a lot, obviously the non-Indians who come to my performances are Christian. And so I have commissioned from my guru 3 original dance dramas that are not entirely based on Hinduism. So one was called Karuna Shakti, the power of compassion, and it addressed subject matter such as bullying and warfare and degradation of the environment. And I take these into the schools in Tennessee and perform them throughout. And um, I've had really good luck bringing people to an appreciation of Bharatanatyam by choosing themes that are more accessible to them. So we've done a couple of them. One was on the Jataka stories, which are moral tales, and they
Mhm.
cover honesty and compassion and all of those basic values. And because I'm in Tennessee, I've had to do these kinds of dance dramas, and my gurus were very kind to work with me to create these non-traditional dance dramas that have helped me take Bharatanatyam out into the larger American community.
Nice. And that's a good thing. It's a like applied form of a science. You're taking the pure part and then making it. Maybe Vanderbilt can have a chair or some kind of a study, which if people are listening, you should think about it, because this will bring a value and discipline, and also appreciation of the world, and it's not religion or something. It's culture, right? Humanity is one. So
So
uh,
I did teach at Vanderbilt for 19 years.
you do. Oh, you
I
did.
retired a couple years back from
Oh,
Vanderbilt, but yeah, I taught Bharatanatyam at Vanderbilt. It was open to the larger Nashville community, but mostly it was Vanderbilt students who attended.
sure. Okay, so we'll request the admin of the Vanderbilt to please give credit for the students, so that, because it's all boils down to credit. These kids are so much credit obsessed for their universities, undergrad. If you give 2 credit for the dance form, and again, this is a real good form, why not? So that more kids will be joining. And if the government of India and a lot of people do listen to my podcast, she deserves a Padma Shri. So please, uh, please take a note of her. I can provide more detail.
No, no, no.
Somebody who has given her 40 years to the Indian dance form in India and US in a pure form. Again, Bharatanatyam is not a small dance. It requires your whole life she has given. So I don't think if anybody is more eligible in this form of art to get the Padma Shri. So, do list her for that. So thank you, ma'am. Thank you very
Thank you
much.
very much.
Thank you. तो व्यूअर्स, जैसा कि मैं बोल रहा था, आपने सुना इनको। अब इनके स्कॉलर पति और वोकलिस्ट को अगर नहीं सुनेंगे तो ये पूरा प्रोग्राम एंड नहीं होगा। आई नो इट हैज़ बिकम अ लंबा प्रोग्राम, बट विथ ग्रेटिट्यूड टू मोनिका जी, मिस्टर महादेवन सर को सुनना बहुत ज़रूरी है। सो आई एम ब्रिंगिंग मिस्टर महादेवन सर ऑल्सो फॉर 1 मिनट। हाँ, महादेवन सर कहाँ गए हमारे? ओके। जम्बो फलसारभक्षितम् उमासुतम् divine. शोकविनाश कारणम् नमामि विघ्नेश्वर पादपङ्कजम् नमामि विघ्नेश्वर पादपङ्कजम्.
May the Lord bless all the children today and remove any obstacles in their performance. And may the Lord give all of you an enjoyable afternoon of viewing dance. Bharatanatyam is one of the old classical dance forms of South India with a history of more than 2,000 years. So for 2,000 years, children have been learning Bharatanatyam and getting better and better at it. At our annual recital, all of our students perform, from the first year basic steps children up to our advanced students. They perform regardless of age and ability and whether they've practiced or not. And this is the day when they share with all of you their hard work over the past year. Bharatanatyam is a form that has two components. One is what we call pure dance, in which the dancer stamps the feet on the floor in rhythmic patterns and uses all the parts of the body, from the eyes to the neck, to the shoulders, to the waist, to the hips and feet, arms and fingers. Every single part of the body is used in Bharatanatyam. It is a very, very difficult physical technique requiring intense coordination of mind and body. The second aspect of Bharatanatyam is the expressional aspect, in which we use hand gestures and facial expressions to mime out, to enact the meaning of the lyrics. And for all of its history, Bharatanatyam has been a devotional art form in which the lyrics are addressed to all of the different aspects of the one divine being and guides the audience towards an experience of union and bliss with the Lord through the dance form. It's a tall order for children. So with that, we will get started. Our first group are our beginning level students. This year I had two beginning level classes, one for children 5 through 7 years of age and one for dancers 8 up to adult. So here are our youngsters presenting the basic steps of Bharatanatyam. These are accompanied by what we call sulakattu, or vocalizations, which connect to each step. So each step has its own type of syllables that accompany it. And the dancers will be presenting each step in 2 speeds. There are 3 speeds that we practice, but at this age of learning, they have mastered the first speed and the middle speed. So without further ado, we present our adorable beginning students in basic steps.
These are small kids. Let's see some more if we have a bigger kids here, because time थोड़ा ज़्यादा हो गया है तो
ನಂದನಂದನ ಹರೇ ದಯಾ ಸದನ ಮಂದಹಾಸವದನ ಕುಂದರದನ ನಂದನಂದನ ಹರೇ ದಯಾ ಸದನ ಮಂದಹಾಸವದನ ಕುಂದರದನ ಆನಂದ ತುಂದಿಲ ಮುಖಾರ ಬಿರುದ ಗೋವಿಂದ ಜಯ ಮುಕುಂದ ಯದೋತ್ತಮ ಆನಂದ ತುಂದಿಲ ಮುಖಾರ ಬಿರುದ ಗೋವಿಂದ ಜಯ ಮುಕುಂದ ಯದೋತ್ತಮ ನಂದ ನಂದನ ಕರೇ ಜಯ ಸದನ ಮಂದಗಾಸವದನ ಕುಂದರದನ ಆನಂದ ತುಂಬಿದ ಮುಖಾರ ಬಿರುದ ಗೋವಿಂದ ಜಯ ಮುಕುಂದ ಯದೋತ್ತಮ tam tam saka papa mataka di 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 kita tu tam tam saka papa mataka di 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 kita tu kama kama di 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 kita tu di kita tu kama kama di di kita tu di kita tu kama kama di di kita tu
yeah. Sorry. So that was Cooley ji, and our team.
I want to thank them because that is the most satisfying way to conclude 25 years of teaching. I know they want to just sit down on the floor right now. So I'll announce their names quickly so they can go inside and sit down. This is Mira Unni, Priya Jaisinghani, and Isha Upender. Thank you. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, viewers. Thank you very much.